one thing before we get rolling here. Next time you resample, Option-Command-I, the image size dialog box, chances are you're not going to want nearest neighbor hard edges. So let's change this back to Preserve Details 2.0 with reduced noise all the way cranked. And again, I don't know if that's the best setting. It seems to be working well right now. So I'm getting used to that. So now, the next time we pull up image size, we have, I'm going to hit escape, we have that setting. Again, if you go to MasterPixels, you're going to have to choose nearest neighbor. Trust me, I've been bitten by this. It's on Twitter when I got bit for not changing that. So right now, what I want to do is I want to copy these pixels and take them over to Illustrator because I want to do something with them. So Command-A selects everything, Command-C copies. Now, these pixels are now on the clipboard, and then I can hit Command-D to deselect here. Then switch over to Illustrator, and if you don't have Illustrator running, go ahead and launch it. Now, you might wonder, what in the world is this? This is what I want to do to those pixels. I want to put a circle in the center. See, this is a square. I want to put a circle in the center of each and every one of those squares. So I'm going to open up a new document, Command-N, and 2000 by 2000 pixels. And if, when in doubt, always jump over to Web, and then you can double click and say 2000 by 2000 pixels, okay? And we're in RGB and all, life is good, everything's wonderful. And then we can just hit Command-V. That pastes our pixels here. But we don't want to mess with this, so I'm going to lock this layer by clicking in between the visibility, the eyeball visibility, and the layer over here. So click right there to lock it, and then add a new layer in Illustrator. And here's where we're going to make those circles. But we're going to do it a little differently than you think. So first thing I'm going to do is double click on that, make sure it's black so I can see what I'm doing. The color really doesn't matter because we're going to be changing these colors. What does matter is that we have no stroke. No stroke. We have a fill and no stroke. Select the rectangle tool, come out here and just click. Click one time. Click. And you get this rectangle dialog box. And I told you, each one of these squares is 250 pixels. So if we make a rectangle that's 250 pixels by 250 pixels, it's exactly the size of these. And then if we get the black arrow and say, I want this to be put right there, but I want it perfectly. So this little grid here, where is the registration point? Okay, Illustrator calls it a reference point. So up here in the upper left-hand corner, I know that corner is 0, 0. So if I type 0 and, oh no, not that one, the X and Y. 0 here, hit Tab, 0 there, hit Tab. Now, hit Return, just accept that. Now, that is in the perfect spot. Now, I want this over every single one of these. That's going to take a long time, isn't it? Well, it would unless you just hit Return with the selection tool with the black arrow, hit Return, you get the Move dialog box. I don't want to move this, well, I could move it down. Well, let's go ahead and just do that. Okay, we'll move it down, then we'll move it across. So horizontal, 0 pixels, vertical, 250. And then make sure Preview's on so you can see what you're doing. And then click Copy. And then hit Command-D, D. And you got them all. Then select these, hit Return, horizontal, 250, vertical, 0, Tab, Copy, Command-D. Now we have all these pixels here. We can select them like this. We can click on the meatball to select them. We can hit Command-A. However you want to select them. You have them selected now. Go under Effect, Convert to Shape, Ellipse. You get this dialog box and you get some strange effect. That's because Relative is selected. Click Absolute, and then we have tiny little circles that are 36 by 36. We want 200 by 200. Now, I hope you see how effective this can be. If you start thinking outside the box here, you're saying, hey, there's a lot of things we can do with this. And if this wasn't showing, the preview checkbox was off. So you need to have that preview checkbox on, okay? And then click OK. And now we have our pixels here, where our pixel-sized circle, that's 200 pixels instead of 250. Let's come back because I want to show you how to turn those into just circles and then resample so we have all the same colors.